In this video I'm going to show you how I make a beautiful pouch from this scrappy fabric. They're just so pretty. Just look at those. This is what the back looks like. I'll put a link in the description on how I made the fabric. You could use batting, you could use fusible fleece, you could use anything, but I'm using the foam just to give it some stability. I'm going to quilt that down. I'm not going to use a backing fabric just yet because we're going to line it. Now all I'm going to do is quilt straight lines about 1 inch apart, 17 inches, so I'm just centralising that, and I'm going to just roughly mark my 1 inch marks. Repeat the same over here. What I'm doing is I'm lining these 1 inch marks up with the 1 inches on this ruler so I can get this side as well. And I'm going to draw my lines. You don't have to, I just find it easier to sew on the line, and I'm using the heat erasable pen. I'm going to continue drawing the lines on both pieces. I'm going to put some pins in to hold it down. I've got myself a test sheet, so I have a piece of foam, some cotton and then knitting on the top, and I'm just going to see how this sews. It's always a good idea to have a practice before using your sewing on your main fabric. So let's just see how this sews. I'm going to make bigger stitches, so I've gone up to a 4.0 stitch length. And that seems to have sewn beautifully. There's the standard stitch and there's the larger stitch, and the back seems good, no puckering, so it looks like a universal needle will do well. I'm going to start off with this one and just do a straight stitch. I've sewn down every other line with a straight stitch. On these alternate lines, I'm going to do decorative stitches. So I'm keeping the centre of my foot on that line that I've drawn. This is real-time video, so each line actually takes some time. If you don't have the time to do decorative stitches, then just do straight stitch. Now that took 8 minutes to just do that decorative stitch down there. I'm going to square this off and trim away the edges and then cut a piece of lining to match. It's ended up being 11.5 inches by 16.5 inches. I've cut the lining 3/4 of an inch longer. My lining piece is directional, and because I'm making a bag, you'll have one side that way and one side upside down. So I'm going to cut this in half, and the extra 3/4 of an inch longer is for the seam allowance. So that both sides of the fabric the direction is facing the correct way. I'm going to cut back the foam on these two side edges to reduce the bulk. This is where the zipper is going to be. Pin the fabric out of the way. I'm going to line my edge up with the line on my board, bring it in 1/2 inch, making sure my fabric underneath is out the way, and cut off 1/2 inch. And all I've done is removed the bulk. To make a zipper tab, you want the fabric at the width of your zipper. My zipper is, I can't even measure, 1 1/8 in width. I'm going to cut myself a strip 1 1/8. So I'm going to cut a 4-inch strip. I'm going to trim it in line with that stopper. Now you can cut that zip stopper off if you want. I'm just going to leave that on as extra, but you don't need to. You can have a continuous zip. You don't need to have one with an end on. With the zipper tab, fold it in half with right sides together and slide your zipper up to the end. So you've sandwiched your zipper and you've got the fold on the end. Pin or clip that down to hold it, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch straight across the end there. And now when we flip that back, we've got the zip encased. If you've got an open zip here without a zipper tab, it's not going to break through the fabric because it's covered on the inside. Now that we've added our first zipper tab on, we need to work out the length that we want our zipper. So measure the fabric, and this fabric is 11.5 inches wide where we're going to have the zipper. So we'll just make a note of that. Then we have 3/8 inch seam allowance on both sides. So we've got 3/8 inch plus 3/8 inch equals 3/4 inch. And then decide how much of the zipper tab you want. And I want 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch on both sides equals 1 inch. So now we need to take off 1 3/4 inches off this 11.5. But we need to add back this 1/4 inch seam allowance here. So we'll just take off 1/4 inch off that. So we've got 1.5 inches that we need to take from 11.5 inches. So we need to cut our zip at 10 inches. I'm going to put the seam line of the zipper tab on that 0 mark at the 10 inches. Oops, nearly made a mistake. Make sure that your zipper tab is on, and this is where we're going to cut it. So take your zip, hold it together, and take your zipper tab, fold it in half and push your zipper into, it can get a bit tricky, you're going to push it up to that half, but you also want it kept together, and clip it off. And again, we're just going to go and sew 1/4 inch to sew that down. We want to find the centre of the zipper, so with this seam line here and this seam line here, put them together, line them up and find the centre of your zip. Mark the centre of your zip, and we also need to mark the centre of the fabric. So it doesn't matter if these ends are different lengths, we're working from the centre of the zip to the centre of the fabric. Have your fabric facing up, place the zipper right sides facing down, lining up those centre marks, and pin or clip in place. Take one of your lining pieces, making sure it's the right way up, flip that over so the fabrics are right sides facing together, lining up these edges here, pin that down too. If you're unsure about anything shifting or moving, you could use tape, zipper tape, to hold everything in place, or you could just sew down the zipper first here for 1/8 inch just to hold it, and then put your lining on top. And we're going to sew down this seam here. I have my zipper foot on, but I'm going to swap it over. Right now my needle is on the right hand side of the zipper foot, but my zipper tape is on the left hand side when I put the zipper underneath. So I need to swap the zipper over so that the needle is under the left hand side. So your zipper foot is two-sided. You can either clip it to the left or the right. So now I'm going to put it onto the left. And this way I can push that up against my zipper teeth. And we don't want to sew right up against the teeth because we want to be able to move the zipper up and down. If you look, the zipper foot is, I can't see on this side, but the zipper foot is wider than the zipper teeth. So we need to allow at least this width where it sticks out. And there's normally a line, if you can see that line going down the zipper there, that's the minimum you want to be sewing at. But we can't see that. So what I do is, I'm going to open the zipper to move the zipper pull out of the way. Flatten everything back down. I'm going to put a clip just here to hold the lining straight across the edge. I've got all my fabrics, I've got my zipper in the middle, and I'm going to run the edge of my foot here along the edge of my fabric, and that is allowing me to leave some space for the zipper pull to move up and down. So I'm not pulling on anything, all I'm doing is making sure that the three fabrics stay together. Now I'm coming up to the zipper pull, which is here, so make sure your needle is in the down position. Just unclip that there, and I'm going to move the zipper out of the way. Line everything back up and continue sewing. Open it all out, and as you can see, I've left a space for the zipper pull to slide up and down nice and neatly. Now I want to flip everything back, give it a press with my fingers, and I want to top stitch, but I'm going to start top stitching at this mark here and finish at this mark here. I'm not going to top stitch this section. When I'm top stitching, I'm going to change my foot over. I'm going to use this foot. You could use a regular foot. I like this because the stitch in the ditch, because it has this guide, and I find it really nice for top stitching. So I will run that guide along that seam, but I need to make sure that my needle is far over to the left hand position. So I'm just going to move my needle over, and now my needle is over in the far left, and I'm going to make sure that my foot is on that seam line and lower my needle, and I'm just going to stitch. Oh no, ignore me, we did that wrong. I'm going to drop the needle in line. I'm just making sure I've got that line, just lining it up. So I've dropped my needle in line with this sewn edge over here where we did the mark, and I've got the centered guide on the seam. My stitch length is at 4. I'm going to do a stay stitch on my machine. I've got a stop stitch, but you can sew forward a couple of stitches and reverse a couple of stitches, which I'll do at the other end to show you, but I'm going to use my stay stitch, which is this one here. And now I'm going to sew. Nice and steady. I'm going to leave the needle in the down position, raise the foot and move the zipper pull out of the way, which can be a bit difficult which is why we leave the needle down so that it doesn't go off. Drop my foot back down, and I'm going to continue stitching until I get to that mark there, which is in line with these stitches here. And then reverse stitch. I could do the stop stitch again. If you don't have a stop stitch, just reverse a couple of stitches. And we started here and we finished here, and that's all I'm going to top stitch. Before I do the other side of my zipper, I want to do some decoration on here. So I'm going to decide where I want the bottom of my pouch, this sewing line here, which is 2 inches up. I want a 4-inch bottom. I want a fat bottom pouch. So whatever your bottom section is, this will be the front, and I want to decorate that. I have a large selection of things here that I can decorate with. This was off an old t-shirt of my daughter's from when she's 22 now. This was when she was a child. That's how long I've had this. But I was thinking this would be nice. The first thing I'm going to do is stabilise this because it's stretchy fabric. I have some medium weight fusible interfacing that doesn't stretch. I have a piece of Teflon sheet and I'm going to use that under my iron. Now I'm not ironing, I'm just pressing that down. And then that just peels off. And now it won't stretch. We're going to cut that off. I have this bias binding that I made for a project. I could use that, which would give it a nice edge. So I'm going to go and bind all 4 edges of that, and then I'll be back. So I've made my patch. It doesn't move, it's nice and secure. I'm going to take these pins out because I keep catching myself on them, and just put a clip in there so I know where the bottom is. And when we decorate this, we don't want to catch the lining when we sew it down. So we need to allow at least 1/2 inch on either side, and we're stopping here, and this is our decorative side. So I'm going to put that roughly centre. I'm just eyeballing it about there. A couple of pins down, pin it in. Now I want to make sure it's level with the zip. So I'm going to go from the zip down, that's 1 inch. From the zip down, I need to move that up a bit, that's 1 inch. I'm not levelling it with the lines, I'm levelling it with the zip. My lines are not perfectly straight. I think I'm going to put it there, like that. So I'll cut off that rose and cut off that rose. So that can go there. Sew that down without catching the lining. But I fancy making some ribbons, bows for these corners. So take your ribbon, you want your 2 fingers, let me move this out of the way so you can see, 2 fingers, bring it round the back, we're going to do a figure of 8, bring it down and take it behind, and then cut it. I'm cutting this one a bit longer. Then this end goes through the fingers here, pulls around and crosses over, and then goes under this top bit that goes through the fingers, and pull it down. So pull that nice and tight, slide it off if you could get it off. My fingers are too fat. I think I pulled it a bit tight. Pull that. Oops. No. I want to pull that. I want to pull this nice and tight here. And there's a cute bow which will lay flat. We're going to make these tabs 5 inches wide and 2 inches long. So take your fabric, fold it wrong sides together and give it a press. Open it out, fold in your raw edge up to that folded line, and repeat for the other side. And then fold it over again. Sew down both of those long edges. Now we're going to do the other half of the zip. So we're going to find our centre on this side. There's our centre mark, and bring that centre mark up to the centre mark of the zip, and clip that down. I'm going to flip that over to the lining side. Take your second lining piece, making sure that the pattern, if it's directional, is facing the right way, and flip it over. And we're going to line this up with these edges here of the lining piece underneath and clip that down, lining up the raw edges at the top, the zipper. And we're going to go and sew that down just like we did before on the other side. Just going to top stitch from there to there, just like we did on that side. I've top stitched that down. That was a bit tricky. What I had to do was sew it on my machine like this and just go halfway, then go to my machine this way and sew it from there, going halfway. So it was a bit awkward, but it was doable because it's a tube, so you can't sew flat because you'll go through the fabric underneath. So now we need to open this out, line up the bottom edges. Because this is quite bulky, I want to make the lining fit better. I'm going to shorten the lining. So I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch at the bottom of this lining. A nice good size opening like that. So I'm just going to go and sew these 2 bottom edges using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Press the seam open. Take the tabs and fold in half. Measure in 1 inch from the folded edge on both tabs. So open out your lining, and I'm going to line that line up with my seam of my zipper. I'm going to pin that in place to hold it down. Make sure that you've got the raw edges sticking out at the top. Repeat for the other side. And I'm just going to go and baste it at the end here, out of the way, on both ends. So we'll fold that back up 4 inches in on itself. I'm just going to clip that down out of the way, pushing the bulk towards the lining out of the way and putting a clip in there, matching these up evenly and putting, if you can see that, putting a clip in there and a clip in there. Do the same for this side. Push the tab down, push the bulk towards that way so that we can pull this fabric in tight. Measure 2 inches from that seam and draw a line. With that 2-inch line, we're going to fold the fabric, both pieces, make sure you've got them level. I'm going to fold both pieces on that 2-inch line together and press that down. This is our open bit here. So this side is folded in like an M shape, and this side is just folded over, both pieces together. And we're going to sew down both of these. Bringing the needle forward so I can backstitch. And when I get to this end, I'm making sure that all my bulk is over to the lining side. And I'm going to get a hump to put underneath, and hopefully that will help me get over this hump here. We shall see. If not, we should have come the other way first, so we'll do it the other way next time. Nice and steady over all that bulk. And continue. And now I've got another hump here, so I'll do that again. Okay, so we're going to put that underneath again. It's just getting trickier because there's a lot more bulk. Push that underneath to raise it so it can go over this piece here. And back stitch. If you've got bulk, just take it nice and steady, you don't have to rush. Trim off this excess here, level with the seam. It just keeps wanting to roll. If you want to trim off the corners, be careful, but don't trim too close to the sewn line. I'm going to trim away some of this bulk around here, and the same at this end. And now we're going to flip it right sides out. Press those flat. It's like a little triangle. And do the same this side. And open that out. Now we're going to take the lining out and sew up that open seam. I'm going to add some glue all the way down this bit of lace. And offer that up. I probably shouldn't have done it this way. And then these bows I'm going to add to the top there, which I think is pretty cute. Now, will that rose go? Yeah, I'm going to cut this rose off this bit of lace. I just want to add one more little thing. I have this little angel. I'm just going to open this out and remove that, and then hook that onto there and close it back up. We have a cute little angel.